Well, good morning, folks. It is Tuesday, the 21st of April, 2020. We're still in lockdown. We're still doing our daily devotionals. This morning I was reading 2 Timothy 4:7, and it says, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. This is Paul writing at the end of his life to his spiritual son Timothy. And he's talking about how he's finishing. And you know something? It's so important that we finish well. It's so important that we're able to finish what God gives us to do and to do it well. He says, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. Now we're talking about enduring faith here. Faith that lasts, not temporary faith, not faith that diminishes. It's not rocky ground faith. It's not thorny ground faith. It's good soil faith. It's faith that endures. It's faith that continues. It's faith that bears a harvest. You know, it's interesting because Paul says he's fought the good fight. And, you know, there's so many fights that we go through in our lives, right? But sometimes I think that we can have bad fights as well as good fights. You know, he fought the good fight, which meant that he was fighting something for something that was worthwhile. He was fighting and contending for that which is worthwhile. So often we fight and contend for that which just isn't worthwhile at all. I mean, I just think of how over the last 16 years of marriage, whenever Toto and I have arguments, often I look back and I think, my goodness, what was that about? That was over nothing. And so it's being able to get a bit of perspective and to be able to say, well, actually, is this a good fight or is this a bad fight? Is it a good fight and we need to endure in, or is it a bad fight that actually we just need to step back and take our hands off and say, you know what? That's not worth my time, energy, and effort. But Paul says he's fought the good fight. Of course, the good fight is the Christian faith. The good fight is enduring for Jesus. The good fight is contending for the Lord and the things of the Lord and standing up for Jesus in the face of opposition. And then he says, I've run the race. I've run the race. I've finished the race. The word there for the word there for race is the word dromos, which means course. I finished the course that's been laid out for me. I finished the circuit. I finished the race. I finished the course. Now, some people's races might be a marathon and other people's races might be a sprint. And in one sense, it doesn't really matter if it's a marathon or it's a sprint. What matters is you finish the course. You know, marathon's 26 miles. If you stop at 25 miles, you haven't finished the course. Sprint's 100 meters. If you stop at 99 meters, you haven't finished the course. We've got to finish the course that the Lord has put in front of us. We've got to follow his calling on our lives and finish the course that has been laid out for us. Paul says, I finished the course. I finished the race. My race is over, Timothy. Your race is on the go. He's passing on the baton to Timothy, or the baton to Timothy. I've fought the good fight. I've run the race. I have kept the faith. You know, it says that we've been given a measure of faith, but we have a responsibility to keep that faith, to nurture that faith, to mature that faith, to see return on that faith. Joe shared a thing yesterday where he was talking with the Lord. He says, Lord, I just want to please you. And the Lord led him to Hebrews 11. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. You know, we need to be a people of faith and who take hold of things by faith. We're going to talk a bit about faith on Sunday. We're going to talk a bit about faith all the way throughout this week. As we enter into this period between Easter and Ascension Day and Pentecost, you know, it's a real significant time in the church. As I've been saying to you, we've been told two major things after the resurrection. Wait till you receive power and go into all the world. Well, we can't go, so we have to wait. And so we're waiting to receive power. I had a prophetic word through a dream. If you haven't seen that on YouTube, please go look at that. It's setting the agenda for this next few weeks for us as a network of churches. And there's 4 things we're praying for, 4 things we're seeking for. Refreshing of faith, a new faith, a revitalization of our faith. We're praying also for a fresh baptism of the Holy Spirit. We're praying for a release and a contending for the prophetic within the movement. And we are praying for a fresh zeal and passion for Jesus. Well, I want to tell you guys that what we're going to do, you're going to be receiving stuff from each of the 4 different pastors throughout the course of the week. On Sunday, we're going to have a unified Zoom meeting for the whole network to come together in prayer as we seek the Lord. I want to encourage us to pray with one another, build one another up, encourage one another, bless one another, reach out to people and say, hey, do you want to be a prayer partner in this time? And in this place for this week, we and maybe a bit longer, we just want to just say, hey, listen, faith. You gotta have faith. We gotta build faith. We gotta move in faith. We gotta have fresh faith. We gotta have a renewal of faith. We gotta steward our faith. We gotta expand our faith. We gotta strengthen our faith. We gotta take hold of things by faith. The Lord wants to give us a fresh faith, faith that endures. So whenever we come to the end of this all, we can say, like Paul, we've fought the good fight. We've stayed the course. We've run the course, and we've kept the faith. Hey, have a great day, guys. Be blessed.